Let's start with the player who keeps saying things. I'm going to have you intro this one if you don't mind. Just to explain what happened here. There's a player that won't keep his mouth shut. He keeps saying things, and we need to talk about it.
Yeah, well, in typical college basketball fashion, Hunter Dickinson was present on a podcast. I did not see the full episode. I saw the clips, basically the comments that he said, did not have a chance to get the full context of the episode, but you really get what he was trying to say in the clip. It's not one of those taken out of context things. And once again, Hunter is bringing up his ex-girlfriend, his ex-team in the Michigan Wolverines, shitting on them, shitting on the people of Michigan, saying that Michigan is quote unquote fake Midwest and people in Kansas are just nicer. This comes after maybe a couple weeks ago, he was saying that Kansas is just better, or the basketball programs run better. Is that what
The
his comments?
off season is much more difficult at
Much more
Kansas than it
difficult.
is at
Much
Michigan.
more. Okay. So once again, Hunter in the headlines for talking about his ex team for seemingly no reason. It seemed to get a lot of backlash online. Gregory, I know you had some thoughts, so I'd like to go ahead and give the floor to you to comment before I get my little comment on, because I really don't have much to say on it.
Deep breath.
Okay.
I want to preface all of this by saying I genuinely mean this. I like Hunter Dickinson, the person. We've gotten to communicate with him back and forth a little bit. He has been kind to us in private. Met him at Big Ten Media Day, exchanged some messages here and there. We almost got him on a College Hoops to Go episode. From what I know, from my interactions just with him, the person, I like Hunter Dickinson, the person. I despise Hunter Dickinson, the character, and he is way more focused at all times on playing the character that is Hunter Dickinson than being a real person. This is a guy who cares about his legacy card. We know that from our conversations with him. He agreed to terms to come on a College Hoops to Go episode with us in Ann Arbor. He agreed to it under only one condition. If you would tell the world that he had a better career at Michigan than Cassius Winston did at Michigan State. I have the screenshots. You can see that if you want to see it. This is a guy who both has a troll in his character, and I think in reality, Cart, he cares about what the public thinks of him. He cares about his legacy. Well, I want to talk about Hunter Dickinson's legacy for a moment, if you don't mind. Okay?
Please.
If we just defined Hunter Dickinson and his legacy by what he does instead of by what he says, he would just be Jordan Bohannon. He would be a forgettable college basketball player who has limited professional opportunities in basketball and whose brightest professional future in his life is tied to Marty Mush. But instead, we define Hunter Dickinson, the character and the person, by things that he says. Like when he said, quote, "Nobody likes Illinois." And then he went 0-4 in his Michigan career against Illinois. Or when he said he was, quote, "going to steal a win in a ski mask at Wisconsin this year." And then he finished with 12 points on 9 shots in 35 minutes in a 5-point loss to Wisconsin. Or notably, Cart, when for the first time in 18 months in a Michigan uniform, he was silent. His voice was nowhere to be heard. In the press conference after their second round NIT loss to Vanderbilt, where they blew a 9-point lead with 53 seconds left, and he was then silent for the 2 weeks following while he entered the portal and never, ever said a word to anyone at Michigan or outside of Michigan about it. If we defined him by what he has done instead of those things he has said, Cart, we would note that in 2022, he was named a preseason Kareem Abdul-Jabbar Award List watch member, a Sporting News preseason first-team All-American, an NABC Player of the Year Award watch member, and at the end of the year, he finished just as an All-District 7-member second team. That's all he got. Or how in 2023, when he was again named to the preseason Kareem Abdul-Jabbar watch list, a preseason consensus first-team All-American, only to finish the season recognized on just one of 2 All-Big Ten first teams, notably, Cart, by the media and not by the coaches, because every other coach in this conference has zero respect for him as a player and a person. Or we would note, Cart, how in the 2022 preseason, His Michigan team was 6th in the country in the AP poll preseason. They finished 19 and 15. Or in 2023, Cart, when they were 22nd in the preseason AP poll, they finished 18 and 16 with a loss to Central Michigan and a second round NIT exit. So as Hunter Dickinson continues to shove his face down our throats week after week, kicking it with Juwan at Peach Jam, and then telling local media that Kansas offseason is way tougher than Michigan's, or going on podcasts saying that Michigan is fake Midwest, the people aren't nice. Just remember, please just remember, we do not have to define this man by what he says. We can define him by what he does, which, as a basketball player goes, is a whole bunch of meaningless nothings.
I mean, that was a special bar. I'm not going to lie to you. And I'm going to keep it way shorter than you. It makes no sense to me. I'm a person who says stuff like with a goal in mind. Like I don't like wasting my breath or like wasting time or just doing things that antagonize people. That doesn't really suit me. I don't know, maybe because I'm not a villain or something like that. But you're in a better situation. You're with a better look. Let's say he's in a better situation, better team, leaving behind the dumpster fire that it's probably going to be Michigan basketball this year. There's a lot of issues going on with Michigan basketball currently. That is behind him. He's with Kansas. He's got Bill Self. He's got the big NIL deals. He's got everything. There's zero reason for him to bring up Michigan and shit on Michigan. Literally zero. Especially because, at least in my eyes, and you could tell me I'm wrong on this one, I don't know if there's a lot of Michigan fans that necessarily even blame Hunter for leaving. Like, no. It's not like they were like preying on Hunter's downfall or like being like, oh, I hope he goes to Kansas and just like shits the bed and never plays well. No, they didn't. They were like, go. Like, I understand why you wanted to go. Just like, thanks for, do the stats and the antics and everything else that you did while you were here. But like, I understand why you left. So the reason for him, like, basically just worrying about, like you phrased it, worrying about his ex who doesn't care about him or who's low key wishing him the best, and he just continues to talk down on it. So it's honestly very odd. Like, maybe like he saw it was like a slow news day, or like he hadn't spoken up in a while. He's like, you know what? Let me rile some things up real quick. It's very odd.
Yeah, I mean, he's a clickbait god. He knows that. I think a lot of what he does is calculated. And I just think this one's misguided. Like, if I was a senior in college, Cart, and I started dating Jessica Alba, I wouldn't constantly talk about the girl I dated the first 3 years of my college career. Like, I just wouldn't do that. Like, you're in a better place. Go do it. Move on. Who cares? Nobody despises you for it. For a fan base that, quote unquote, is not very nice, or is not as nice as Kansas, Michigan could be a whole lot meaner to Hunter Dickinson if they wanted to. Like, I just don't really see it. And last point from me on this, then I really genuinely hope we never have to talk about this again. I saw in my mentions, I got a good amount of Illinois responses because I tweeted, I quote tweeted the verbal commits article they put out that had the clip of Hunter and the quote from Hunter. And I said, fake star won't stop talking about his ex. That was my little dig, fake star, whatever you want to call it. Okay. Illinois fans had like 5 of them respond and be like, this is so hypocritical. Oh, well, Illinois is the fan base that trashes their former players. First off, that's a fair response. Okay. After all that I have said, it's dumb for Illinois to shit on their former players. That's fair. I open that. I accept that. Here's where I think there's a massive difference between what I'm doing with Hunter Dickinson and what Illinois fans are doing with Illinois players. I am not ever going to pretend like it's a good thing for Michigan's basketball team that Hunter Dickinson is gone. Michigan will be a worse basketball team without Hunter Dickinson by a lot. If I could magically put him back in Ann Arbor, I would deal with all the bullshit.
Even right now?
I mean, look, do I think Michigan's basketball team would be better with this Hunter Dickinson back? Yes. Unequivocally, yes. And I always want the best basketball team for my program. So Illinois instead.
I respect that.
That's just the difference, right? Like, I can dislike so much about him as a character. And like I said, I like him as a person. I don't like him as a teammate, as a leader, as a character, any of that. In a way, it's refreshing that he's gone. It's not good for the basketball team that he's gone. Illinois fans want to pretend that losing Matthew Meyer and Jaden Epps means their team's great with worse players than that. It's just not how it works. And two, I will just note, Hunter Dickinson's essentially the only Michigan player I've trashed. I mean, like, I'm not doing this. Like you can compare. We had Caleb Houston and Cormac. I never shit on Caleb Houston. I never shit on other dudes who have under, like, the only guy that I'm antagonizing is Hunter Dickinson. Whereas Illinois,
you shit on Diabate at all?
No, not at all. I mean, I don't think I've ever had a Michigan player I've sort of publicly done anything with. Whereas, again, Illinois had Adam Miller, Andre Curbelo, Matthew Meyer, Jaden Epps, Sky Clark in the span of 24 months. So I think it's a little different than what's happening here. But fair play, Illinois fans. That's fine. Hopefully that's the last time we ever mention this guy's name on the show. I have a really strong feeling it won't be, Cart, because we do daily episodes and Hunter Dickinson does stupid things daily. It's a match made in heaven.